A lot of people over 60 think that strokes just happen, but the fact is significantly more nuanced. What feels like abrupt is typically your body having growing pressure, diminishing signals, and a nerve system breaking its rhythm. But if you stick with us for this episode, you will hear excellent news. Because your brain can regain the secure, peaceful condition it needs to defend itself in a matter of seconds, each day when done consistently. Welcome back to The channel is a place where tradition and science collide and where personal experience illuminates the way. In today's episode, we're going into something rarely talked about. How, without the need for medication, mild daily routines can lower the risk of stroke beyond age 60. Now here's something worth listening to intently. A 2021 study from the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases discovered that nervous system dysfunction, notably impaired vagal tone, is closely connected to greater stroke risk in older persons. But hardly no senior is ever taught how to strengthen this area of the body. So to change that, sitting across from me is a man who has helped thousands of elderly avert strokes. He continues to show up for us every day despite being over a century old. Welcome back, Doctor. Thank you, John. Today, most people still conceive of strokes as primarily a blood disease, clogged arteries, high pressure, maybe cholesterol. But the truth reaches deeper. Stroke risk begins in the neurological system in the quiet breakdown of messages between your brain, your heart, and your body. And once that system gets out of rhythm, everything else follows. That truly makes me pause because it reframes everything. We focus on numbers and blood so much. Hypertension, cholesterol, medications, yet we rarely question how those numbers are handled. We don't inquire how the body preserves its own balance in the first place. Just that's the missing piece. We've regarded the body like a series of parts, yet it's a network. Your heartbeat, your breath, your brain sensation of safety, they are all linked. Additionally, by strengthening that connection, we lessen the circumstances that give rise to strokes. You're implying that it goes beyond the heart and arteries. It's about the feedback loop that keeps things working smoothly. Indeed. And in this episode, I will walk you through 3 simple actions every senior can do that strengthens that loop. No prescription, no equipment, simply easy daily movements anyone can do Together they assist the body relax, regain equilibrium, and safeguard the brain before anything goes wrong in less than a minute. Doctor, how vital is it that viewers do not skip parts of this episode? Very essential, John. I hope our listeners will stay with us until the end because, although certain activities will appear simple, understanding them is crucial. Talking about strokes, I often think of an old patient of mine. At 73, he was active, robust, and had no serious problems. Then one day, he experienced what he thought was just a dizzy spell on the stairs, but it turned out to be a min stroke. Some days later, he received a real one, unconscious, and had to spend a week recovering in the hospital. He wished he had known these tactics to prevent what occurred to him. I can suppose the warning indicators are constantly there, and the tactics we will cover in a minute will assist the system remember how to respond. Let's not wait then. What's the first thing someone can do today to start protecting themselves? It's surprisingly easy for someone to start, John. But don't let that deceive you. It's a technique that uses the strongest muscle in the human body, the tongue. Yes, the tongue. The majority of people never consider it to be powerful, yet where it rests and how it moves can convey impulses through the entire neurological system. Additionally, it can subtly trigger a portion of your body that contains the key to preventing strokes, relieving tension, and regaining balance when positioned correctly for a few seconds each day. That's fascinating. So, how exactly does someone do it? Is there a precise method the tongue should be placed? Indeed, this is how it operates. You softly press the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, just behind your 2 front teeth. Not too hard, just enough to feel touch. As you do this, take a leisurely breath in through your nose and expel even slower through your mouth. Spend roughly 10 seconds doing that. What this does is activate a nerve that governs everything from your heartbeat to your stomach, the vagus nerve. That's the same nerve you've talked about before, right? the one connected to calm, blood pressure, even inflammation. Just that. The vagus nerve is the body's built-in relaxing switch. It travels from your brainstem all the way to your intestines, and when it's active, your body transforms into what we call the parasympathetic state. That means lower heart rate, more stable blood vessels, less inflammation, and crucially protection against the kind of internal instability that typically precedes a stroke. So, you're suggesting just one little tongue movement can start to reverse years of nervous system stress? Yes, if it's done routinely. This is not a magic medicine, it resembles a reset button more. You push it each day and over time your body starts remembering how to stay calm under pressure. That's the first point for prevention. And most individuals wouldn't even think twice about where their tongue is during the day. That's what's so startling. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't require any equipment, prescription, or appointments. Just awareness and a moment of focus. According to traditional Japanese medicine, the most profound effects come from the smallest actions. Restoration. That truly lands because it's not about fixing something broken. It's about reestablishing contact with something that has fallen silent. Indeed, even in situations when there is no threat, modern life causes the nervous system to be constantly on guard. Over time, this pressure develops, the vessels tighten, the signals falter, and then one day the system fails. However, if we can re-establish that serenity even for just a few breaths a day, we offer the body a chance to recuperate before it's too late, and you've frequently witnessed this kind of shift in your patients. I've had older patients tell me their sleep improved, their balance returned, their thinking felt sharper, and all they did was start with this one easy habit. It doesn't replace medical care, of course, but it supports the system in a manner medicine frequently doesn't, by teaching the body how to help itself. So for someone listening, if they do this for the first time, what might they expect to feel? Some immediately feel more at ease. Others find their breath deepens or their thoughts slow down just a bit. But the big changes occur with repetition, because what you're really doing is reconstructing a pathway the body forgot. That is really empowering. A habit that's quiet enough for most others to ignore, but strong enough to alter your body's reaction to the outside world. And once the body starts behaving differently, everything else begins to alter. I'm starting to see what you mean. It's not the size of the habit, it's what it relates to. I'm wondering now if the tongue is capable of doing that. What else might we be missing? What we're missing, John, is our own voice, not simply in speech, but in vibration, in sound. The next method I teach isn't spoken at all, but it involves a sound that emanates from deep within. It's called humming, and when done with intention, it becomes one of the most potent instruments for resetting the neurological system. A quiet hum coupled with your breath can trigger the vagus nerve much more deeply than tongue pressure alone. That is amazing. Humming seems more like a dumb thing people do in traffic than a healthy habit. However, it is quite old. In both Japanese and Indian cultures, the use of sound to relax the body stretches back thousands of years. Humming has been shown by modern research to slow the heart, open blood vessels, and relax the brain, particularly during prolonged exhale. It even boosts nitric oxide synthesis, which supports better blood flow to the brain. So, how does someone actually do it? Is there a right way to hum for this to work? It's simple. Inhale softly via the nose. Then hum quietly as you exhale, like a mild M sound. You may teach your body to relax on demand by doing it for 1 or 2 minutes each day. It's almost like you're speaking straight to your nerves through sound. Just that. It returns consciousness to the body while avoiding cognition. That's what healing frequently calls for. Not only knowledge, but attention. So many people feel alienated from their own body by the time they reach their 60s. That's why routines like these are so powerful. They aren't just soothing. They restore a sense of ownership over your health. That hum becomes a kind of anchor, a signal that you're still here, still conscious, still in charge. And over time, that shifts how your entire system behaves. It resembles a nervous system handshake between the body and the brain. A lovely way to say it. Additionally, keep in mind that individuals with high blood pressure, little sleep, or mental fog frequently have inadequate vagal tone. These are early warning indicators. Similar to the tongue technique, humming allows your system to gently practice balance. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. I've noticed you continually saying the term gently. That seems deliberate. Yes, it is. The nervous system doesn't respond well to force as it responds to rhythm. It needs repetition, tenderness, safety. These are the conditions that assist the body return to homeostasis. That's something I think a lot of listeners need to hear. We're constantly advised to push harder, try more, contribute more. But maybe what we need is to listen more carefully. So doctor, you listed 3 tricks in total. What's number 3? The third one, John, is what I call the neck reset. It's a steady, purposeful movement designed to trigger the baroreceptors. These are microscopic pressure sensors on either side of the neck just above the collarbone. They play a key function in regulating blood pressure, blood flow to the brain, and the body's ability to transition between stress and calm. However, such sensors lose their responsiveness with time, particularly in elderly persons, frequently due to persistent jaw tightness, neck, or shoulders. When that happens, the brain starts getting confused messages about what's happening in the body. And one of the subtle factors that can increase the risk of stroke is that perplexity. Are you suggesting that the body's ability to control pressure and flow might be distorted by something as common as stiffness in the neck? Indeed. And it happens more often than people realize. We are hunched over. We crane our heads forward. We cease using the neck's entire range of motion, and over time, that tension increases. The baroreceptors become sluggish, the blood vessels become more rigid, and the brain has to work harder to receive the oxygen it needs. People begin to feel lightheaded, hazy, or unsteady at that point, although they hardly ever related to their stance. And how do you help someone reverse that pattern? What does the neck reset actually entail? It's a really gentle practice. You start with a tall spine when sitting or standing. Inhale slowly through the nose. Then when you exhale, move your head softly to the left, just to a comfortable range. No straining. Pause there. Inhale again. Then exhale and rotate the head slowly to the right. Lastly, make a tiny gap at the back of your neck by tucking your chin under, and take another big breath. Even simply listening to that is causing my body to relax. That's because movement mixed with breath is a natural indicator of safety. The vagus nerve and baroreceptors both respond to slow intentional changes. Additionally, the body ceases overreacting when it perceives safety. Blood pressure decreases. Circulation improves. Inflammation cools. It's not difficult to reset your neck. It's a signal, a discussion with your own internal circuitry. It almost sounds like you're teaching the nervous system a new language, or maybe helping it remember an old one. That's precisely it. Most of us forget how to speak the body's language. But these micro-behaviors are tongue positioning, humming, and neck release. They each tap into primal mechanisms that know how to safeguard us if we allow them. I've witnessed patients recover stability, sharper thinking, and even less episodes of vertigo, not as a result of our additions, but because of what we helped reset. And the most effective part, these techniques cost nothing, yet they give everything. There's such a sense of dignity in it, reminding individuals that their bodies still know how to heal. What I really think is that fresh tools aren't always necessary for healing. Sometimes it's about ancient reflexes softly awakened. In Japan, we refer to the body as a garden that needs to be cared for, rather than a machine that needs to be maintained. These habits are like water, like sunlight. Life is made possible by small, consistent things, and they do more than lessen stroke risk. They rebuild trust. Hearing that is humble. So many people assume health has to be loud or hard, but what you're saying is that quiet can be just as strong, maybe even stronger. Quiet is where the body listens. The deeper imbalances are frequently concealed by loudness, but these silent gestures, when done every day, begin to rewire the system, not only for safety, but for presence. These 3 habits you mentioned don't seem very noteworthy to me. No machines, no applications, no technology, but they meet people exactly where they are. And now that we've walked through them, I'm thinking, where does someone begin? What's the greatest approach to make this part of their life starting now? Start with only one, John, the tongue trick, the humming breath, or the neck reset. Whatever comes most naturally. Performing one of the three consistently is more important than performing all three flawlessly, and once that rhythm is created, the body will start asking for more. That's a great approach to look at it, not as a checklist, but as a dialogue with your own health. Just that, these aren't tasks, they're invitations, requests to slow down, re-establish contact, and listen to oneself before things goes awry. And once people feel even a slight difference, they start to remember what stability feels like. There's a great beauty in it, remembering that we may feel solid again since steadiness is not lost. It's buried behind years of cacophony. And the path back is made obvious by these behaviors. Everyone listening finds it to be quite motivating. If you think this was a beneficial episode, give us with a thumbs up and a note saying you completed the episode. We love to know who finishes and who doesn't. I'll see you in the upcoming episode.